Well, good morning. I am here with Herb Chipman and Ed Carroll. Both are they're not going to like when I say this, very prestigious leaders, formerly of the Stoughton Fire Department. And I asked them if they would be kind enough to share some of their leadership experiences with me as they evolved through the ranks. And I know that there were some pretty tough times along the way. I think both of you experienced when they came up with all of the budget cuts probably in the 80s and 90s and some tough economic times. The only thing is fires really have no preferences on when they occur, and they don't care about the economy. The most important thing is safety. So I wanted to take your leadership perspectives, and I can start with you, Herb. Tell me how... Henry. What did I say, Herb? Yeah, Herb. I apologize. I don't know why I said Herb. You should have corrected me before, but that's okay. I apologize. I don't know why I was thinking of Herb. All right. I will start with Henry, and we will talk about how, you started with the Stoughton Fire Department and then eventually built your relationship with, it's my understanding that you trained Ed here, and the successorship was a big part of leadership. So tell me about how you started and how it evolved into your relationship with Ed.
Well, I started in 1962, goes back a ways. 1987 I made lieutenant, and 1996 I think I made, or 97 I made captain. Eddie came on about 10 years after I was on.
As captain?
No, I was only a firefighter then. But
10 years.
I was a senior man.
I got you, okay.
Senior man had some responsibilities.
Absolutely.
So he came on right after that, 10 years after I did, so, he kind of stuck with me, and I helped him a little bit, I hope. I did, because he went right up the ranks, so, much
How did you get up the ranks?
Well, you have to take a test to be lieutenant, and then you get promoted how you are on the list. But what I go by, you give by example. That's
You mean leading by example?
Leading by example.
Okay.
If you're a good leader and you did good as your firefighter, then you come up as a lieutenant and a captain and so forth. So that's about it. Just by showing them how to do it.
Okay, so you showed Ed by example.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to put him in a bad way here, but because we always do things like that. But the thing is, both of you have passion for what you do, and I think that's really, really important. I mean, putting your life in someone else's hands every single day is an amazing devotion, a passion. And to lead in something like that, let me switch over to Ed now. Ed, how did you learn from? And I have to keep calling him Herb, but from, I don't know, maybe remind me of Herb, of Henry's example. How did you learn from Henry's example?
When I come on, Lieutenant Noonan was my shift commander at the time. We were on the same shift, Group 1. And the lieutenant told me, you stick with Henry and just stick right with him the whole time, and he's going to show you how to be a successful firefighter, successful. Because a lot of the job is more or less hanging with a family. You got a family on that group, and he taught me to understand that there's no isolation here. There's a family. You work as a team.
Being the firefighters are a family. Yeah, right.
So even at one of our first fires, we went in and I followed Henry in, and he was crawling around looking for the fire. He was looking for the fire. I was making sure I knew where the exit was. And he finally had it with me, and he turned around and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I says, "Well, Lieutenant Noonan said to stick with you." He said he told you to stick with him, but not crawl up my butt.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Then he found the fire, knocked it down, and when we come out, we went over the whole thing and we laughed about it a little, but he always showed me lead by example.
And that's what you
Talk
did.
the talk, walk the walk, you know?
Right. I mean, you guys had. So let's talk about how you kind of came up through the ranks as well. Was it from Henry's leadership, or the environment, or what type of a culture was it?
Well, Henry got promoted before me. He took the test, and I never really took the test too serious. I just said, I'm going to be a firefighter. I don't want to be an officer, because some of the officers get to stay outside and, you know, got to get in there when it's dirty.
Okay.
But then I found out he passed the test, so I said, okay, next one I'm going to ace if I can, because if Henry moved up, it must be the thing to do. And that's what I did. I took the next test, and I showed up number 1 on it, and I got promoted. And at one time, they put us on the same shift together. So we were still together for all those years.
All those years, and then you eventually evolved to chief.
Yes, we both moved up to captain at just about the same time. And then Henry's retirement, and that was at the time when Paul Roach, he went, young Paul, no, Paul Roach, when I made deputy chief. Myself and Paul Roach were junior, were deputy chiefs. And to tell you the truth, that was a day job and it was a desk job, and I miss firefighting.
You missed actually getting into the, yeah. And you know, I know that the was it the Melendez fire? Is that right? That was the real challenge. Now, were you both on at the same time? Were you both
Our
active?
shift had it. We had a report of a rooming house fire, and then when we got there, Henry was in charge, and we got a call. There was two guys coming down from the second floor fire escape, and they told us somebody else was up there. So we went up, and I went up the back way, and some come up the front way, and we got caught in I guess it's a flashover.
Yeah, but I mean, what I understand though that you know, from what I heard about people in the community that I've talked to, you guys did an amazing job of that, and there was so much humanitarianism in it, and that's one of the things I wanted to touch with both of you, is about humanitarianism, how important that is. It isn't just putting out a fire, it's dealing with the families as well. And I heard so much about that Melendez fire and how much humanitarianism you guys had to follow up with that. Can you talk a little bit about that, how that kind of fits into the culture of firefighting?
Well, the town and the community and the people backed us 100%. I mean, they were amazing, and because we were going through a tough time, losing one of our own in a fire.
Right, you lost one of your own,
yeah. To deal with it, we had a tough time, but the community people, from the town manager, selectmen, all the way down to the little kids in the street, they were amazing to us, and we had to group together ourselves to get through this together, because it was our shift. He was on our shift, and you know, to get through it, it was really tough. We had to group together as a group of firefighters and go from there.
And the thing that we had to do was, you kept on saying to yourself, what could I have done different that would have had a different outcome in this thing?
Right.
So you questioned yourself, and you questioned, and the other guys saw that you were questioning yourself because they were. So at least we got to sit around and talk about it. And then we had to comfort his family, which is son and his wife and two daughters. We had to bring them, you know, make sure that somebody was with them all the time, and make sure that they made it through. Matter of fact, Chris Melindy, Victor's son, went on to be a Cambridge firefighter himself.
It's really amazing, though, that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And the thing is, when you talk about the culture, how amazing it was that Melendez, he still, although it's my understanding that everyone had been out, he thought there was somebody that was still in that apartment,
Oh, yeah.
and he went back in, risking his life. I mean,
Yeah, he did, but also Eddie and there was 3 other guys that were in there looking for people, making sure there was nobody in the rooms up there. It was a rooming house that was broken up into a million rooms. And they had to go in every room and check under the bed and everything. They were all up there together. The guys went to get a hose and the others were there with them, that's when it flashed over.
yeah, and the thing is, you talk about taking risk. Leadership is about taking reasonable risks. And sometimes in firefighting, the type of leadership is there's no such thing as too big of a risk when it comes to saving lives.
Right.
And, what's reasonable and what's unreasonable by maybe management standards doesn't happen. Because management would say, okay, well, it seems like everybody's out. We can't put ourselves in danger. So I guess what you guys are trying to tell me is your type of leadership means that, you don't put yourself first. As far as I'm concerned, I've been teaching this subject a long time. There is no greater servant leadership than firefighting, because everyone is leading the charge to make everyone else safe.
Well, we passed that on because his son is on the Stoughton Fire Department. I got 2 sons on the Stoughton Fire Department. And my wife's father was on the Stoughton Fire Department. So, yeah, we're passing it down. So. But still, when that bell goes off, or the scanner goes off, I still cringe because my kids are going out and I know that they're going to be aggressive and fight the fire. They're not going to be what we call doorway dancers. They're going to win and get it,
Yeah, well, you guys are both absolutely amazing, and I am honored to have interviewed you. And I will share this with my class, and I will get some feedback. Thank you so much, both of you. Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.